Hello, IGN. My name is Jose Otero. I'm joined by Brian Altano.
What's up, Jose?
And we recently played Alien Isolation, which I've played this demo, not this part of the game before, but I sort of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Tense, environmental, very cool. What did you take away from it?
So I kind of went in blind. I'd never played Alien Isolation before, even though it's been at a few events. It was at Comic-Con. It was actually, there was an alien egg you could climb inside. I didn't feel like climbing inside an egg at Comic-Con. That can get dangerous. So I played the game, and what I was immediately struck with was how deadly it is. I died playing this game so many times, and I think it's because it's doing a lot in sort of bringing back a lot of the kind of like survival horror games I grew up with. Like right off the bat, there aren't any of those checkpoints that you get playing regular modern games now, where you're just walking along and all of a sudden it's like, you never have to do that part again, you're good to go. Everything in this game is based sort of like on these phones that you have to dial in on to save, and it reminds me a lot of the ink system in Resident Evil, where you sat down at the typewriter and you had to save, and if you didn't do that, you died, and when you died, you had to go way, way back.
Yeah, and to continue the sort of Resident Evil comparison, I think the thing that this game does that nothing right now, at least survival horror-wise, is doing, at least right now in my opinion, is the way they handle the alien.
Yeah.
The alien is sort of this presence, and when it comes out, you have to be very aware of where it is. You have to lead it away from you at times. You have to like stealthily sneak around and try to just stay as far away from it as possible, because the minute it sees you, you have no hope whatsoever.
Yeah, and you know, I tried a combination of everything, and it's weird to me because I love stealth games. I play them all the time. Like I played Watch Dogs, it had stealth elements. I played Splinter Cell, it has tons of stealth stuff. In those games, you can kind of like, you see an enemy and you watch how it performs, and you see it walking along this path, and it sort of goes from point A to B to C, back to B, back to A. This game doesn't operate like that. This alien, you're just watching him and you're like, all right, he turned the corner, so he's not gonna be here for a while. Nah, he comes right back.
Yeah.
So I tried hiding, I got murdered. I tried creeping around right in front of him, I got murdered. I tried running as fast as possible, and boom, you look down and his tail goes through your stomach. Obviously, you got murdered. No one's going to patch that up.
No, and if he senses your presence, even if you hide, you then have to take the next step, which is if you're hiding in a locker, you have to like press back against the locker and even hold your breath at one point, because you don't want it to know where you are.
It's really interesting. You're holding down on the joystick, right, to kind of lean back.
Yeah.
And you're in this locker and you're sort of peering around to be like, I think I see him out of the corner over there. Yeah. And then you have to hold down the trigger to hold your breath. And then like the screen starts getting red because you're like... And you find yourself holding your breath in real life to the point where I was playing the demo and somebody got up and walked behind me and I was like, ha! I actually jumped. It was like, legitimately screwed me up for a moment there.
Sure. There is one aspect, though, of this conversation we haven't really talked about, which is that in a lot of ways, though, and I didn't realize this until I saw some footage they showed us after the fact, you can actually use the alien to your advantage.
Yeah.
So there are parts in the game where the main character you play as, Ripley, is there are other survivors on this boat or on this ship, people who are unsavory characters or who are out for their own survival. Yeah, hostiles, as you might say. And there's this great sequence where you can throw a noisemaker into the room, and then guess what happened? Alien showed up, cleaned them out, and then you have to worry about where that thing is. But at least that's a really cool, interesting way to use the mechanic.
Yeah.
I think it's really smart.
Yeah, it's sort of like having a pet alien that also wants you dead. Yeah. Like you're like, sorry I killed everyone in the room, but I'm gonna tiptoe past you. Yeah. And it's weird because I never felt anything but sort of unsettled playing the game, and you have this sort of like
motion tracker.
This motion tracker, just like the original Alien. Now tons of games have been made based on aliens, and the sort of like they're coming out of the goddamn walls and you're shooting them and stuff like that. This doesn't feel like one of those games. This is about I mean, even when I did get my hand on a gun, like at no point was I like, I want to shoot this alien, because one round is not going to take him out. And you do find plans throughout the ship that will allow you to make Molotov cocktails and other slightly offensive weapons. But I found a lot of them were sort of better used for distraction scenarios.
Yeah, exactly.
To throw him off the trail so you could run through somewhere and get out somewhere safe. Now every now and then you'd see the alien pop up into the rafters, his tail would twirl up and you'd be like, all right, I'm safe. But then you'd go walking along, and you thought you were safe, and you'd go walking around, and then all of a sudden, like, the rafters would bust open, and the tail would come down, and he'd come down again and ready to kill you.
Yeah, no, I think folks at home who are curious about this thing, definitely be aware that there is some trial and error involved.
Yes.
The save system can be brutal because they don't really do the checkpoints thing, as Brian was saying.
Yeah.
You have to go find the phone to then save the game quickly. And a lot of things are out to get you, and you are constantly on edge because you're either hearing a lot of machinery in the background, or you're hearing the alien actually crawling through the ventilation, and like you hear dum dum dum, like he ran by, and you're like, okay, I should be afraid right now.
Yeah. Playing with surround sound headphones really freaked me out because it's actually, when he's running around, it sounds like the world's worst upstairs neighbor. Like you actually hear like the doom 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 doom.
Yep.
And you know when you can hear him coming behind you, and you start to hearing the hissing and the breathing. Like my palms were sweaty. I was terrified.
Yeah.
It really messed me up.
So it looks like we're getting the real deal from this thing so
Yeah.
far. Definitely keep it on your radar if you are a survival horror fan. And for all things Alien Isolation, make sure you keep it right here at IGN.
Ah!